What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Trey the Trader here. Today I'm breaking down the $5,000 trade that I took last week on the US dollar Japanese yen. Let's get right into it. All right, that said, we're here on the chart, and let me actually start from the very beginning. All right, so this is on the 4-hour where I was analyzing this trade. As you can see, I already have this marked up. Maybe I should break this down for you guys. Give me 1 second. All right, here we are on a clean chart. So I'm gonna break this down for you guys in real time so you can see my thought process while I was analyzing this trade. All right, so here we are on the 4-hour looking at UJ, and I'll show you how I got this $5,000 trade, where I got in, where I got out, how I found my entries and exits. So the first thing I do when I get on the market is I want to figure out exactly which direction the market is moving, right? That said, to do that, I have to map structure, right? So I just picked an area here. Boom. That was high to low, from to lower high, lower low, lower high. Excuse me, lower low, lower high, lower low. Retested a high, higher low, higher high. Okay, so this was right about where I took the trade. I wouldn't say it was it was Wednesday last week. Tuesday or Wednesday of last week is where I took the trade. So right off bat, I can see that this right off bat, I can tell this is a downtrend, right? Boom, that's a downtrend. And where we started to get the transition was right about down here in this area, right? It was an area where price refused to break below. It found an area of resistance, right? And this is also a pattern. I'll break this down in a second because we're not there yet. But price refused to break below this area pretty much, okay? We did get a slight break below, but look at the close of the next candles, right? This candle broke and closed below. The two following candles were then what? Doji bodied candles before the next bullish candle closed and brought price back above this area, right? So that's indication that this price did not want to break past this area. Tested it multiple times. 1, 2, this right here, 3 and 4, right? So already this is telling me price didn't want to break below this level. We can expect this price to potentially transition. Not only did we get a respect of this area, we also got a break through this trend line here and a retest of this trend line, okay? So that said, I have confidence this market is ready to move up, okay? So let me go ahead and mark off my areas. Now that I have my my structure and direction of the market determined, now I have to figure out which phase are we in right now, right? So the market moves in 3 phases, right? It's the push phase, the pullback phase, and a continuation, all right? So for example, let me just draw it out for you again. For example, 1 second here. Here we go. All right. So for example, say we started this high here, right? The market is in a downtrend because it pushed to a new lower low, right? Pulled back to give us a lower high, and then continued in the overall trend direction, which is a downtrend, right? Continued down, right? Then we got a what? Pullback, and then another continuation, all right? So those are the phases of the market. Push in whatever the direction of the market is, a pullback, right? Or correction, and then a continuation in the original direction. That's what determines a trend. And the downtrend is determined by lower lows and lower highs. All right. If you've seen enough of my videos, you already know that concept. I just had to break it down for anyone who might be watching this the first time. So that said, I drew this area here of exhaustion, an area where price did not want to break through. This is on the 4-hour. Okay, let me just draw up a couple more areas here. So we have an area here as well. We have multiple areas that it tested. Draw this over. That's also 4-hour exhaustion zone. All right, we have one right here as well. Draw that. Okay. So we have a few exhaustion zones drawn up, and I analyzed this on Sunday of last week. If you haven't watched that video, go watch the video. So the market was here when I analyzed it, right? So these zones were drawn up based off of previous areas of where price was at, previous areas of price action, right? All right. So now that we have the overall direction of the market, right? We have our market structure aligned. Let's go ahead and draw some trend lines. All right. So it broke the downtrend trend line, and it now is respecting the new. Well, actually, we need a third touch just to make sure it respects. But we have point A and point B of our new uptrend trend line. Okay. Let's go ahead and break it down to a lower time frame. Let's go to the 30 minutes. See how this looks. Okay, it looks pretty good. Pretty good. All right. So right down in this area is actually where I took the trade. Right here. Boom. Let's go ahead and make that white. All right. So this is where I took my trade, and I'll break it down in a second. But before I get there, let me just show you what I'm looking at on this time frame. Okay. So as you can see, just like we saw on the 4-hour, this market is in a downtrend, right? Making downtrend in motion. At this point, when the market comes up to give us a retest to this area of resistance, right, gives us a retest to this area of resistance and appears to be respecting this trend line, it then comes down and retests this area here, right? This 4-hour exhaustion zone that we talked about. Price comes back above it and comes back down to retest it, right, as support. And at these levels of support, we get 1, 2, 3 wick rejections, right, at this area before price pulls up above it. So when price starts to pull up above it, pay very close attention to what we get here, right? Price clearly, right, pulled up above that level, retesting this area here, gave us a pullback to retest it, another push to retest the high, a pullback to retest it again, a push to retest the high, another pullback, retested it a third time, right, before breaking through that level of resistance. It broke through this level of resistance, right, and then gave us a pullback to the level of resistance to retest it as support before continuing higher to this exhaustion zone, this next exhaustion zone as resistance, which you see it respected twice before pulling back down. Okay, so here's how I found my trade. When price respected this area, now here we are on Monday. Okay, here we are on Monday. I'm observing this and seeing what the market is doing in this area, because I know based on the higher time frame, like I just mentioned, that it's not wanting to break below this exhaustion zone. So I'm expecting some signs in the market to show me that it wants to transition back to the upside. Okay, so I get that sign once the market comes back down to this area, right? It doesn't break below these previous lows that it did, retesting this 4-hour exhaustion zone. Okay, it didn't break below it. So that tells me, all right, you came back to retest this area yet again. You're not breaking below it. I'm getting rejections in this area each time you come down, right? You're respecting this level of support and the newfound structure on this lower time frame. Okay, so that said, this gave me confidence to get into this market to the upside. Okay, so I entered a buy right about, and I was late to the market actually. So, I mean, the entry wasn't that great, but the overall direction and my confidence in this move was. So I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I think I got in somewhere around here. All right. Yeah, I got in somewhere around there, right? Stop loss below this area here. Okay. And then take profit up at the next level. I believe my take profit exactly was 132.85. Yep, there we go. And I'll post the actual screenshot of the trade on this video so you guys can see it. But this, I just want you guys to see the actual trade. So I was in a little bit of drawdown, wasn't too bad. But ultimately, you can see I caught anywhere in the neighborhood of 180 pips on this trade. Okay. It took, yeah, about a day and 5 hours for all this to play out, and turned out to be a $5,000 trade. So all in all, that was a perfect setup. I can't really complain.